Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all salvation and blessing. Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we are still giving Him favor to be here. Don't forget salawat and greeting for our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who taught their people goodness. And I respect the lecturer Dr. Andi Kaharuddin, S.I.P, M.hum as a lecturer in this course. Before starting the discussion, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Muh Aqil Musafar from the Islamic University of Alauddin, Makassar, majoring in English education. I will immediately discuss the articulation of suprasegmental sound, intonation, and juncture. The phrase is suprasegmental sound. According to Baker and B. Winger in 2070, intonation in English helps to mark the function and the boundaries of a synthetic unit, e.g. whether a sentence function to ask or to affirm, etc. For instance, a statement like "she is sleeping" is marked as giving information when it is ended by a filling a pattern of sound. A pattern of sound pitch, but is marked as a yes-no question when it is finalized by rising pitch. Besides, intonation is also used to emphasize new information in an utterance with mainly function to express emotion or attitudes. Therefore, intonation is found different not only within different language, but also within the same language. Manufacture avec intonation is the speaker voice level, low or high, speech rate of delivery, fast or slowly, emotion, feeling sad or happy, attitudes, positive or negative, and gender, man or woman. In comparison to word stress, which is generally focused on where to place the stress properly in English word when speaking. Intonation is more about how speakers say utterance by raising, falling, or remaining their voice flat when speaking. The speaker tendency to rise, to fall, or to remain flat. The voice really depends on the meaning or feeling they want to express. How they produce their voice calmly indicates the mood of the speaker, such as anger, surprise, interest, gratitude, boredom, disappointment. Many linguists have analyzed English intonation and eventually distinguished the list for relative pitch level: a low pitch 1, flat pitch 2, high pitch 3, and extra high 4. 3 pitch level: a low, a 1, normal 2, and high pitch 3 are commonly used in normal speech, which may convey different function, e.g. making statement, addressing question, etc. On the other hand, the other last level, extra high pitch 4, is commonly used for screaming or shouting, which may convey other different functions such as expressing terrible fear, great happiness, raising anger, etc. The linguists establish intonation patterns for normal speech: a falling 2 plus 3 plus 1, raising 2 plus 3 plus 3, and combining patterns 2 plus 3, 2 plus 2 plus 1. The overall pattern of intonation can be indicated by arrow symbol. A downward arrow is used to indicate falling intonation, and upward arrow is used to indicate rising intonation. and a rightward arrow is used to indicate flat intonation. Next, the following discussion center on the general patterns of intonation mostly made by native English speaker in speech. Some expressions used to illustrate the intonation patterns are adapted from http www.learnenglishtoday.com. The first falling intonation pattern 2 plus 3 plus 1 or this intonation pattern starts from flat level at 2 then moves to high level 3 by placing the primary stress on certain word in a sentence and finally falls at the end of the sentence. To level 1 falling intonation is the most common intonation pattern used by native speakers of English to convey the meaning of statement, comments, information, question, vocation, confirmatory, question text as well as exclamation. Here are the examples. Falling intonation in statement: nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'll be back in minutes. That's what Dad wants to change his car. Here is the weather forecast. Falling intonation in comments. Write your name here. Write your name here. Show me what you read. Leave in on the decks. Falling intonation in we question. Addressing question beginning with question words such as when, what, where, why, which, who, when, and how. What country do you come from? What country do you come from? Where do you work? Which of them do you prefer? Who is that man? Which coat is yours? Falling intonation in question text confirming statement. Regarding text question, we need to know that is for native English speaker, not all of them really function as a question. Some of the text questions are simply used to ask for confirmation or agreeing invitation. In such sentence, native English speaker mostly a falling intonation pattern at the end. He deals. He's so clever, doesn't he? She's such a nuisance, isn't she? Falling intonation in exclamation. How nice of you! How nice of you! That's just what I need. You don't say. What a beautiful voice. The next is rising intonation pattern. 2 plus 3 plus 3 or This type of intonation pattern start from the flat voice level 2 to the high voice level 3 and stay in the level of the end of a sentence. Native English speakers commonly use this intonation pattern for yes-no question beginning with auxiliary modal e.g. can, will, must, shall, etc. or auxiliary verb e.g. do, does, did, have, has, etc. Here are the examples of the use of raising intonation in such kind of sentence. Yes, no question. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Have you finished already? Did you see him? Can you play the guitar? Raising intonation in affirmative sentence convert to question. He got the job. Daniel will come this afternoon. The president just resigned from the position. Raising intonation in a question take as a real question. We've meal already, haven't we? You like fish, don't you? This is a new student, it's not C. The food is nice, isn't it? The next is combination intonation patterns. In addition to both types of intonation patterns, as discussed earlier, native English speakers sometimes use combining intonation pattern. This pattern can be categorized into two types: restful intonation and phrase intonation. Restful, this type of intonation commonly begins with pitch level 2, then rise to high level 3. The next goes down to the flat level again 2, and finally falling to low level 1. Combining intonation in choice. Are you having tea or coffee? Are you having tea or coffee? Is James leaving on Monday or Wednesday? Does she speak Chinese or Japanese? Is her name Leah or Leah? Combining intonation in list. In this type, intonation fall on the last item to show that the list mentioned is finished. We've got apples, pears, bananas, and orange. The sweater comes in blue, white, pink, and black. He likes football, tennis, basketball, and volleyball. Combining intonation in unfinished talks. In casual conversation, speaker sometimes address a question which is not able to be fully responded by the speaker interlocutor. In the situation where one can only express partial statement, so the full intonation is used to indicate that he has tried to fully express his thoughts. Consider the following examples. Do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather is nice. What was the meal like? The the fish was the fish was good. So you both live in Los Angeles. Well, Alex just but combining intonation in conditional sentence. Conditional sentence always consists of two classes. Is a native English speaker is this king of sentence. They commonly use raising intonation in the first class and use falling intonation in the second class. Here are the examples. If he calls asks him to leave a message, unless he insists, I'm not going to go. If you have any problem, just contact us. Next is false intonation. This type of intonation usually takes place in one word, in which utterance is started by using flat pitch 2, then the pitch level changes in particular word, the low pitch 1, but the pitch level rises to high level 3, one another syllable of the word. Besides, it can be used to express polite suggestion or request as well. False intonation in hesitation. So you be willing to confirm that? Well, I suppose you didn't see him on Monday? I don't quite remember. I don't quite remember. Next, false intonation in polite architecture or dub. This type of intonation is used when the speaker is not sure what the answer of the question he/she is addressing. Example, perhaps we cut fish in the place. So we copy the list. Do you think it's loud? Although the intonation patterns have been established, but intonation remains phonemic in the sense that moving the intonation from one word to another in one sentence or using different level of a pitch on the same word often utterance will produce different characteristics of sound and meaning. It is for example, different intonation pattern used will change the meaning of the following sentence. A statement: James went to Jakarta. A question: James went to Jakarta. The next discussion is suprasegmental sound juncture. Most Indonesian learners of English give their priority to repeat their speech without noticing the articulatory position of the sound they make, such as vowel and consonant. The sound are not correctly made, stress is not properly placed on a certain word syllable. The intonation pattern is imprecisely used, and words in utterance are spoken without clear-cut borderline between them. Consequently, all the articulatory imprecision have made neutral speech with cast native English speaker encounter problem in interpreting their utterance. The first three problems have been discussed. The discussion of this section is focused on the last problem, that is recognizing clear-cut borderline between words in incarnate speech, which is also known as juncture. In incarnate speech, it is essential to know which segment of a phrase abandon a function to keep utterance apart for the sake of conveying a clear meaning. In oral communication with our interlocutor, often an utterance we convey in English is not clearly understood by interpreters simply because we do not know where the pause when we are saying some segment of the utterance. For instance, two different words a part and a part, they both are extremely cast each other in their spelling, and when we verbally utter the word, they are very indistinguishable due to their similar sound. However, they both have very different meanings. Upper is upper meaning separately, whereas a part is a noun meaning. A section or division of a word. A good way to say both words differently is to give a brief pause which will separate segment from segment part. When we intend to say section or division of a word, so the word will sound apart to our interlocutor. However, when we intend to say separately, we simply need to remove the pause. In normal conversation, juncture effectively functions as a means to help the user to distinguish between two identical pairs which have different meaning. For example, simile and simile. These words sound identical phonetic representation. The listener can only grasp the phrase's meaning conveyed by the speaker if the speaker properly used juncture, e.g. Did Alex simile? Did Alex simile? Some linguists name the positive mark used in the suprasegmental phonemic as the terminal juncture. Look at the example of the use of the terminal juncture in the following utterance. Einem. She has einem. She has einem. She has einem. And she has einem. That stuff and that stuff and this stuff. I like that stuff. I like it, that stuff. Ice cream and ice cream. Ice cream and ice cream. I say ice cream. I say ice cream. Since placing juncture word boundary in the incorrect can potentially cause a perceptual difference and misunderstanding. It is therefore strongly advised that the international learner of English should learn how to use juncture properly by using words like pistals, and grade A, etc. Maybe this is all I can say. If there is an error in pronunciation and mistake for explanation, it can be understood. Please forgive me, and I thanks to lecturer Dr. Andi Kaharuddin, S.I.P, M.hum, who has agreed and helped me all this time, and also thanks my friend who have helped me in this class. I close this discussion by saying Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.